Happy New Year, everyone. The new year is feeling shiny and new, and we're fresh off that domiciled full moon in Cancer. I started the year off strong and changed the podcast logo like I said I was going to. So if you were here last week, it shouldn't be a surprise. The new logo feels a lot more me. And I really like that my face isn't part of it anymore. Maybe it's my Libra rising, but I feel silly putting my face on a logo because I'm gonna look different at some point. And I don't have the desire or the energy to keep up with updating that picture. So this is a much better option. Plus, it's cool. It's a skull in space. It's objectively sick. I hope you had a safe and inspiring new year. The full moon vibes from Saturday are probably still lingering depending on when you're consuming this episode. I'm excited to keep growing as an astrologer and promise to continue honing my craft so that I can always deliver the most timely, accurate, and easy to digest forecasts. Let's see if I make good on that promise by diving into our first full astro weather forecast of 2026. Not only did we start the new year off with a magically charged full moon in Cancer, but this week is filled, and I mean absolutely filled to the brim, with Cazimi action. For anyone wondering what a Cazimi is, other than a fun word to say, a Cazimi is when a planet is at the heart of the sun. Instead of being fried by the sun's rays, it becomes protected, bolstered, and the significations of that planet are then amplified. This week, we have two Cazimis taking place, one with Venus early in the week and one with Mars later in the week. This is also a good time to remind you that the dates I give are for the exact moments of an aspect. Aspects have an orb of 2 degrees when looking at transits, but I give the exact dates here because, 1, it's the most precise. 2, it helps people who want to do astrological magic or plan other events around transits. And 3, it just keeps things neat. The reason I'm reminding you of this is because you're going to see Venus and Mars flirting with the sun all week long. All throughout the week, it's going to be these intense conjunctions between the sun, Mars, and Venus. Even Venus and Mars will have their own conjunction in the middle of the week on Wednesday. So throughout the entire week, we're going to feel the Cazimi energy, but the actual, literal, down to the arc minute Cazimis happen on Tuesday for Venus and Friday for Mars. All right, you get it. There's Cazimi energy afoot. But what does that even mean? I can keep saying that fun word, but Cazimi, but what does it mean? It means that we're going to see a major uptick in Capricorn energy and within the realm that Capricorn rules for each of us personally. There's already a bunch of Capricorn energy swirling because it's Capricorn season and a bunch of planets are there, but we're going to see it manifest in a different way. This is going to link back to the events of the full moon from this past weekend because the full moon was opposing both Venus and Mars, and obviously the sun because that's a full moon, and the realm of Capricorn in general. It was just opposing all of that Capricorn energy. Whatever the full moon highlighted, that's going to be further explored and worked on throughout these Cazimis. Whatever tension we felt between emotion and logic or intuitive action versus pragmatic action around the full moon, that's going to need to be examined. This week might be a really good time to flush out the more pragmatic end of the opposition that we faced during the full moon. We're leaning into logic and seeing that making a stable plan, it's not going to put a damper on our intuition or ability to be emotionally attuned. It's actually going to strengthen it and fortify it. Cancer energy and Capricorn energy have very little in common. I don't need to tell you that. But where they do agree is their mode of action, their modality. Being both cardinal signs means that these areas of our lives, they want to make a plan and they want to move forward. The full moon highlighted the more emotional, intuitive, or magical side of our desires and ambitions. And now these Cazimis are creating awareness around the pragmatic, logical, and even more realistic side of the desires and ambitions. Both are required to move ahead, so don't downplay either one. You can't downplay magic and intuition, and you can't downplay logic and reason. You need both of them to get this opposition to work. Venus's Cazimi will bring awareness to connection, relationships, harmony, and the longevity or reliability of the realm of Capricorn. How this fully manifests will depend on the area that Capricorn rules for you, but overall, we're going to see a desire for a more realistic connection or indulgence and opulence that chooses quality over quantity. I said this when Venus initially ingressed into Capricorn, and I still stand by it. Venus in Capricorn knows its worth. We need to recognize real value within the realm of Capricorn and not settle. And that can also mean that we are having to recognize value, real value, from the full moon that happened last Saturday. We have to understand, okay, this might be something we want, but is it really of value? We want quality over quantity. Mars's Cazimi will bring awareness to action, ambition, loss, and ultimately what's driving us. The fuel we're running on needs to be something that can be sustainable in a long-term way. If we're running off a cheap fuel, Mars in Capricorn will not stay inspired. It's going to get agitated, it's going to get angry, and it will be liable to lash out or burn something down that doesn't need to be. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so it needs a goal. It needs something to work towards in order to be satiated in a way that keeps the malefic tendencies at bay. And this is just textbook exalted Mars. It needs a goal. It needs somewhere to go because that energy is going to go somewhere. And if you don't direct it, it'll just find a place. And what can happen with this is the information that we glean from the full moon, Mars might look at that and be like, I don't like that, bye, or I want to do something else, bye. So we have to really show Mars in Capricorn that, wait, this is a worthwhile endeavor. Or we might actually be like, hey, maybe that isn't the way we should go, and maybe we need to reform the idea a little bit. And maybe the answer's in the middle. It usually is the middle path, the middle way. But either way, Mars is going to say, that's crap. I don't want to do it. But you can't let it go too far in the other direction. You can't let it take away all the magic and all the goodness that the full moon showed you, but you do have to let it ground you a little bit. Full moons have an element of shedding and releasing to them. In the lunar horoscopes for the Cancer full moon, I talked about how we're needing to let something go and how it might have to do with petty emotions or emotional or psychic blockages. Mars's Cazimi later in the week is going to be our opportunity to sever that connection to something that is no longer of use or that even stands in the way of our progress, or like I just previously said, even just a bad idea, a bad road to go down. It can be anything, person, place, or thing, but it might have to do with relationships or emotional fragments due to Venus's Cazimi earlier in the week. These two Cazimis are really going to be playing off of each other. Venus's Cazimi is saying, know your worth. Mars's Cazimi is saying, I need to purge this to continue towards my goal. For us Libra risings, that means the realm of the fourth house is a place we need to know our worth and stand firm in something. This can be anything from dealing with family or even looking for a new place to live. Don't settle with living arrangements that aren't what you want, and also let go of certain expectations or emotional attachments that keep you stuck in a detrimental loop or with family and home life. That's just an example. I'm a Libra rising, so you guys kind of get a little thing there. You get a little example. The Cazimi energy will be with us all week long, but there's also another important aspect taking place, and that's the oppositions with Jupiter. With the Sun, Venus, and Mars all traveling so close together this week, they're going to be opposing Jupiter and Cancer at the same time. This will happen towards the end of the week, and we'll feel it mostly on Saturday. The opposition with Jupiter and Cancer, it's going to reopen the more emotional and intuitive side of the full moon. So it's like this ping pong battle this week. We started fresh off the full moon's energy on Saturday. The realm of Cancer was highlighted in a major way. Then bam, Cazimi energy in Capricorn. We're focused on reality and creating a stable plan and cutting the bullshit. Then bam, Jupiter hits with the oppositions and the ball is thrown back into Cancer's court. What I'm trying to illustrate is that this week can either be a frustrating power struggle between cardinal earth and cardinal water, or it can be a cooperative and collaborative week where we're bouncing back and forth from inspired intuition to grounded action. Each one needs to take their turn and have their moment in order to take full advantage of all this potent astro weather going on. The Cazimis are acting as moments of realistic clarity and realistic goal setting, and the Jupiter oppositions are reigniting the heart-centered focus, the passion behind why we're trying to achieve what we're trying to achieve. Both realms, Capricorn and Cancer, want success and abundance right now. They just have really different ways of going about it, and it can make us feel like we're failing in both areas if we don't give each one of them their own time and attention. So while it might feel like we're going to be splitting our efforts between Cancer and Capricorn, they're actually really working together towards the same thing. One begets the other here. Remember, it's a back and forth, not a winner takes all. That's what we're working with for the first full week of 2026. I think it's enough to keep us busy. Enjoy all the Capricorn energy while it's here and put it to use when thinking about what the full moon brought to light for you. It might not seem like they're related at first, but I promise they can play really well off of each other if you just keep moving forward. Have a great week, make some progress, and I'll see you back here next time. Thank you for tuning into this week's forecast. If you want a more detailed look at what this week's astro weather holds for you personally, go to my website, moonmattersastrology.com, and sign up to receive my zine. You can also find me on Patreon by searching for Moon Matters. The best way to keep up to date with my work or to book a reading with me is to sign up for my mailing list on my website. I'll meet you back here next week, but until next time, later days.